what qualifies you to go out there and educate others and teach other people how to do stuff is by sharing the things that you have done to either get the results that you have or to overcome the challenges that you have already overcome.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. Got another very special guest here today, Sarah Cordiner from sarahcordiner.com and TekMatix. She has so much experience selling online courses, scaling them using technology. She has an amazing story and a ton of proof. So Sarah, I'm really excited to have you on and talk things, all courses, tech, scaling with you.
Oh, yes. It's good we finally got here together. It's been a while since we've been threatening to jump on the podcast and drop some tips. Lucas and I were just having a chat. Do we cover commercializing your knowledge, course creation? Do we cover marketing your course and getting it out to the world? Do we cover automation and scaling using tech? And Lucas was like, all of it. So we're going to completely go with the flow. We've got no prepared questions here, but we're going to jump in and share as much as possible. So I hope you've got your pens, your paper, a cup of coffee. Maybe some of you are going to want a vodka after this because we're going to go in.
Or two.
It's going to be fun.
Or two. Big on deep. All right. So I want to go so deep. I want to go so long with you. But first, let's step back. I know you're doing a lot of crazy stuff. So maybe let's switch a few years. Tell us, a little bit about yourself, the journey in terms of e-learning and tech for the last few years and kind of what you're doing right now.
So hi there, I'm Sarah Cordiner. If you haven't met me, I am a qualified course creator, teacher, trainer, education consultant. I've been in the education sector for over 15 years now. I know I only look like I'm 21. Thanks, Lucas. We have gone from running a education business that was traditionally, love it. That was traditionally in the classroom, corporate classrooms, delivering professional development training. I did my degree in adult education. I've done my teacher training in everywhere from schools to prisons and everything in between, and ended up running one of the top universities in Australia as the executive director and head of campus, and side by side doing all of that, also going out into the public space as an individual leader, I suppose, in my field of expertise. That has gone on to acquire me over 280,000 students in 181 countries and well over 7 figures made in the time that I decided to have the courage to go out there and start sharing what I love with the world. I recently started TekMatix, which is an all-in-one business platform that circles around course creators, coaches, and consultants. Lucas, I know you've got an affiliate link to share with everyone, so do go and check out Lucas's links before you go off on your own as a thank you to him running this show. But it came about because over the last 10 years, I was working as a partner with all of the top LMS platforms. Your Thinkifics, your Kajabis, your Active Campaigns, all of those guys. And they were just putting the prices up and putting the prices up and putting the prices up. And over COVID, a couple of my students said to me, Sarah, we've got these tech tangles. We're having to tie all these different tools together to run our course businesses. You need your LMS, you need your website, you need your funnels, you need your landing pages, you need your calendar software, your social media schedulers, all of the other stuff, right? And someone said to me, Sarah, why don't you just create your own? Because if you did, we'll come and jump in. And so that's kind of how TekMatix ended up coming about. And that has gone on in just 18 months of running to have just been valued at a $15 million business. And I've done it all working from home in one of the most remote towns in Australia, in my fluffy socks and with 2 young children running around. So I hope that today, if any of the tips we're going to share, one of the biggest ones is it doesn't matter where you start from. It doesn't matter what you have or haven't got. I rocked up to Australia with nothing more than a suitcase. And this year, I'm very proud to be Female Entrepreneur of the Year 2023. And all of that happened purely because I dared and I used all of the free resources that are available, such as the internet, of which there are way more now than there were 15 years ago when I first began. So you can do this. And today we're going to share a few tips with things that you can actually start with right now today, wherever you're at with an internet connection and bucket loads of enthusiasm.
I love it. I love it. So much to unpack there. So let's kind of jump straight into actual course creations. Obviously, you have that amazing platform. I'm sure there's obviously a ton of users in there. let's kind of go into the first step of, building an online course, right? Someone has an expertise or experience or kind of clients, they're looking to potentially automate some revenue with an online course. You probably obviously had a successful course yourself, and you're seeing all this data of people launching on your platform and kind of finding results. I guess if someone is looking to, package up their expertise into an online course, I guess, first of all, how would you think about creating an offer or creating a product from a strategy or positioning perspective before actually the technical filming and things like that? What do you see working? What kind of consistently creates results?
I think one of the biggest things that stops people starting, creating a course, starting a business, putting an offer together of any kind is, first of all, just being unclear which path to go down in terms of which area of my expertise shall I go and sell to the world? Because let's face it, by the time we've got to level adult, we actually have so many different skills from all the different jobs we've done, the different experiences we've been through, the different passions and interests we have. And one of the things I find when people come to me is they go, I have nothing to share because I don't have a thing. When we sit down after 2 minutes, we've already worked out that, in fact, they have many things. And if you're an adult, that's very likely. So first of all, it's going to be, which one of my things shall I create and offer a service or a product around? And get this, you don't have to pick just one. I think that's what a lot of people worry about. Well, if I'm going to go down this road and start teaching email marketing, for instance, I can't ever teach anything else ever again. And therefore they freeze because they think they're putting themselves in a box. You can create as many different courses, programs, products, memberships, offers, services as you like, but do them one at a time. So pick the first one you're going to go with. And I would recommend that thing is the thing that you're so familiar with, that you do all day, every day, that you don't even realize that it's that special. In fact, you forget that other people don't yet know how to do that thing. So I always say to people, I would look back on your life and first of all go, what are all of the things that you have been through? And start with the challenging things, start with the challenging memories, because a lot of people will say to me, well, I don't have a qualification like you, Sarah, or I don't have any big special fancy job titles like you, Sarah, so I can't create a course. Well, actually, what qualifies you to go out there and educate others and teach other people how to do stuff is by sharing the things that you have done to either get the results that you have or to overcome the challenges that you have already overcome. So what you're able to do there is the proof that you know what you're doing is by going, look, here's where I was. Here's where I am now. Here's the situation I was in. Here's the situation I'm in today. That's proof enough right there that you can do your thing. The other thing I love about this is your magical portal to remove imposter syndrome as much as possible. Spoiler alert, imposter syndrome is never going to go away. The bigger you get, the more further forward you fly, the bigger your bouts of imposter syndrome become. However, when you sit down and go, okay, you are not creating a course about everything in the whole entire world to do with your topic. If you think like that, you're never going to create the course. It is going to be completely impossible to create because it is impossible to put everything in a topic in one course. So I always say, look at what you're doing is teaching people what you did to get a certain result in a way or to a group of people who are similar to you. This is where you're saying, this is my model. This is my system for, here are the steps that I took to get to this place. No one can deny that that's what you did. And so therefore you can't get trolled by anyone saying, you're a fraud, especially by your own brain, because you're saying, all I'm sharing in this course to this group of people is what I did to get to here.
Totally. And then once people, get over that imposter syndrome and they come up with that, initial topic for their online course, how do you think about, pricing models and kind of putting the offer together? Because obviously, there's free courses, there's, $10 courses all the way to $10,000 kind of done with you programs. So I'm curious, your experience in these fields with, your own products, some of the, of the users of your platform as well, kind of how you think about this topic, because it comes up a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think one of the first things you're going to be able to do to make your offer irresistible and unique is to, now that you know kind of what you got over, what you got through, what it is you want to show people that you've done. Now you need to put that IP into a framework, or I call it your magic formula in my Legends Lab. So this is where now I would say to people, first of all, you're going to step down and write down, what did you do? What was the mindset you had? What actual strategies did you use? If you could go back and watch yourself from above, what did you do to get to where you were to do that thing? You will have some steps or stages that you went through. So think, like the steps for Alcoholic Anonymous. Think of the stages or the cycle of grief. This is where you have your X step system for getting X result. There's something framework, there's something model. This is your unique IP system. But as soon as you do this, you already add an extra layer of credibility. It adds that sense of professionalism to your thing. So you're going to write your steps down, and then you're going to send it to a designer who can then make it look like a pretty cycle or model or system or triangle, whatever it works best as inside your framework. And then you're going to ask yourself, how deep am I going to go inside each of those stages in each of the delivery formats that I plan to have in my customer journey? So here's the question you just asked. How do I package this up? How do I price it? What does it look like? How deep do I go into each topic? This stage now is all about asking yourself, what kind of course are you going to create? Are you creating a completely self-study mini course? Are you going for a coach-led coaching program as a group? Are you going for a membership model, a subscription? Is this going to be an in-person boot camp? Is this going to be live delivery? Is it pre-recorded? These different delivery formats will dictate the depth to which you're going to go to, which will then dictate the result that people are getting. So I want you to think now, what are the results? If I was going to come and take your course and do your 5-step system 2, whatever it might be, what result will I get at each one of those stages of your program? If the result is a dramatic transformation, I'm fitter, skinnier, sexier, richer, happier, whatever it is you're ultimately helping me do, how big is that transformation? Can that transformation go on to dramatically change my life, my business, make me more money, whatever it might be? And how might I value that in terms of a monetary form? Because that's going to give you a clue as to whether this is a high ticket or a low ticket thing. If you're giving me some quick, fast bits of information, lower ticket. If you're giving me implementation where I'm getting some stuff done and ticked off my list, it's a bit more expensive. If you're creating transformation, i.e. my life, or I am different afterwards, that is a higher ticket offer. So you're thinking there first. The other thing that changes the pricing is whether or not you are involved in the process. So will you be pre-recording this videos, this stuff, this training, popping it into a learning management system like TekMatix, and then it's done, right? Every piece of money that comes through your system from that point onwards is going to be 100% profit, pretty much. That is going to be potentially a lower ticket item because there aren't any overheads associated with delivering that. If, however, you're going to be doing weekly group calls or monthly coaching calls, or you're physically involved in some capacity, you then need to be thinking about your pricing. So I'd be asking everyone listening, write down, what is your rate per hour? What is your hourly rate? If you don't know yet, go and talk to a coach, right, about what you do and how you help people. But this is where you're going to now need to ask yourself, perhaps you're charging $250 an hour. Then if you're going to be running a 30-day group coaching program and you're going to be running, 2 group coaching calls a week through that 4-week period, you've got, 8 times $250 at minimum that you need to cover your costs for, because that is your time. You also then need to add on any hours worth of the preparation, the administration. Are you doing sales calls to get those people on board? Add up those numbers of hours too. And the total number of hours of creating and delivering, fulfilling that 4-week coaching program will give you an idea as to the type of money you need to be pulling back in the sales of those tickets. So these are all different variables, and this is where all of these variables combined will require you to sit down with a course coach and really have those deep conversations about the type of course, the depth of the course, the length of the course, and how much of yourself you're putting into it, combined with the transformation in comparison to your market. That is the unique formula, if you like, for pricing. And
totally.
all of that can be commercialized.
Yeah, I love that. There's so many good points. I think especially like two things that stood out is number one, that kind of like system, kind of like naming and almost, like IPing your unique process, very much allows you to differentiate from everybody else, right? People can YouTube things for free, but if you have a unique system that nobody else is teaching, you can, to an extent, charge a lot more and charge what you want. And I think another thing which really stood out is that transformation piece where, I'm sure it's the same. A lot of people kind of come to the online course space, kind of selling the information, where it's like, people don't necessarily want the information. They want the end result. And if you're selling, kind of a transformation, a new life, a kind of long-term benefit, then that price can definitely increase up, as opposed to, just kind of the raw information. So I think that's incredible. So I want to dive in, let's assume people either have a course idea or they have a course, that's just sitting there, not generating any sales. I do want to go into the marketing side and the kind of commercialization side. So firstly, before we speak about maybe like traffic or paid ads or organic or partnerships or things like that, when it comes to, funnels and funnel structures, we have webinars, VSLs, high ticket opt-in and calls. So how do you think about kind of different funnel structures, based on different price points and different models? And what do you see working right now for yourself and your clients in terms of this, funnel structure?
Well, I'm going to open this with one of the biggest things people say to me is, I can't sell a course because I don't have an audience yet. I don't have a following yet, or the one I have isn't big enough. First of all of the people that didn't fall out of the womb with a Facebook following. None of us woke up
unless you're born into
with
royalty, maybe, maybe like, one of the, if your parents are a celebrity. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you are, well done, milk it.
Yeah.
But we all start with zero on our email list. We all start with no Facebook page. We all start with no website. We all start from nothing when we're building a business. And the only way that you're going to start getting seen, getting noticed, standing out in your field as an authority is to put yourself out there. The only way that you're going to become a well-known leader in your field is to build your own damn throne. Nobody is going to walk on up to your front door and say, here, come and be a celebrity in your field. You have to do it yourself. And guys, for those of you, I don't know if we're recording this by video, we have cameras in our hands. We have the internet in our hands. You already have all of the tools and resources you need to start building that following, to start building that list, and to start selling stuff and making money today with what you already have. So I'm not even going to go and jump into the fancy funnels and stuff right now. If you want to start selling courses, your coaching 1 hour at a time, wherever you're at in your business, the first thing you need to do is determine, what is my topic? We've discussed that. Then who is it that I'm helping? And I'd recommend that is the person who was you when you most needed you, because they're going to be the people who are easiest for you to relate to. This is what I always say. When you most needed somebody like you, how old were you? What were you doing? Were you employed, self-employed, not employed? Did you have kids? Were you married? Were you not? Where were you at? Were you an absolute ragamuffin? Were you really, really, in your shell? What were you doing? That is who you're selling to. Why? Because you can literally say, I remember what it was like to be you. It's going to make it so much easier.
Exactly.
People are like, I don't know what my avatar's thinking. I don't know what my avatar's pain points are. I don't know what they secretly desire. Yes, you do. You were and are your avatar.
Exactly.
We overcomplicate this stuff so much. It's like, what do you secretly think all the time? That's who you're talking to. Talk to you. Talk to your other version. Look in the mirror. What do I really want? What do I really think? How do I speak? That's who you want to attract, right? They're the people who are going to love you the most. So with that in mind, then you're going to start seeing your language, and you're going to go out and just be that guy. I recommend on camera. So for me, video, albeit the most terrifying thing you can do, has been, for me, for many others before and around me, and will be the most powerful way of connecting with your audience, especially now that AI is taking over imagery and text. The people who get their faces on the camera, their real ones, and be themselves and share what they know without any fancy editing are the people who are going to connect with people the quickest, who are going to show who they really truly are, and who are going to have people going, oh, I just feel like I know that person, get that person, I like that person. That is how you're going to start to get out there. So I always recommend, and now you've got AI, you lucky things, right? We didn't have this when we started. All I get you to do is, let's pretend I know I've got candle in front of me right now. So I would simply be going, if I was teaching candle making courses, that's my topic. I would be going to ChatGPT and saying, give me the top 100 most common questions about, and then enter your topic. So in my case here, I'd say the top 100 questions about making candles. All you're going to do is copy and paste all of those top questions that ChatGPT gives you, stick them in an Excel sheet, then go to answerthepublic.com, type in your topic there, see what other questions it comes up with, dump them all into a big Excel sheet, and you're simply going to turn on your camera. I do bulk filming once a week. I'll turn the camera on for a few hours and just answer each of those questions in 3-minute versions. All of them. Just answer them all out loud and then schedule one a day to go out on social media. Now, in 2 hours, in an hour, you're easily going to be able to produce at least 20 videos. Well, that's pretty much an entire month's worth of videos done in an afternoon. It shouldn't take you that long. This is stuff you already know. Yeah, and that's basically an activity that I have just kept up with over the years. When you're doing this, you're not thinking, I hope this goes viral. I hope I get 20,000 love hearts. What you're doing is you're creating a spider web behind the scenes of content that is going to be discoverable for the rest of time. We're not focusing on virality. Of course, if that happens by accident, awesome. We're not going, have I got a great hook? Have I done a nice cool sound effects on the back end? What you're doing is you are basically infecting the internet with your knowledge, your information, and making yourself have a level of dominance and footprints on the internet in this topic, so that when somebody does Google you or look you up or go through your social feeds, they're going to say, geez, this guy's been answering questions on this and talking about this consistently for ages. They must be the real deal. Right? This is really important. The next thing is, okay, it might not get 100,000 likes today. It might get 50 views all up. Oh no, was I a failure? No, because in 15 years time, when somebody types in how to put a wick in a candle, and I made that video 5 years ago, it's still coming up in Google search results. It's still coming up in the hashtag results. It's still coming up in the search engine search results. It's a cumulative discoverability over time that will serve you well into the future. That's the thing you want to give a crap about, not the instant likes. That is what both today and next decade will be bringing people back to you. Am I glad I started doing this 15 years ago? Yes. Am I glad I didn't quit every time a video got 5 views? Absolutely, because a lot of those videos are still getting picked up today, and people are going, wow, she has been talking about her thing for a decade. Must be the real deal. The future you will thank you if you start doing that today. And that was a long way of saying, before you even worry about the techie stuff, and I'm so obsessed with tech, I have a tech company.
Yeah.
Before you worry about that, just start with the basics. If you can't get on camera and talk about your thing for 2 minutes at a time, you're not ready for the big stuff yet. Start there, start getting that out there, then get the big tech things done.
Yeah, and who knows, shout out to the people watching this in 2026 or 2030, they could be watching it right now as an example. And if you're here early, then, you're here early before anybody else. So I love that idea. So many points there. Even with, the idea of like SEO and search engine optimization, people are going to be searching for this stuff on YouTube, on Google, even TikTok's a huge search engine now. So literally you showing up first, answering these kind of burning questions. Like you said, we've had courses I've worked on where we ship videos 4 or 5 years ago on YouTube, and they still got, over 1 million views, and they keep coming in, and sales keep coming from work done 5 years ago. And at the start, it wasn't
It's
that
mad.
popular. So
And you know what,
I
Lucas,
love it now.
actually on that as
Yeah.
well, because I think it's not always about being first either. It's about being consistent, because so many people expect instantaneous results. They'll do a couple of videos, maximum over a couple of months tops, and then they'll go, well, I didn't get anything from it and nothing went viral, and they quit. Right? You will win purely from stubborn consistency, because so many people don't make it past 90 days. So many people definitely don't make it past 365. All you've got to do is just be an absolute stubborn beast in that I'm just not going to quit, because people might be able to outmarket you or out fancy logo you or out budget you on some ads or out VA you, right? Whatever. But nobody can ever out help you or out consistent you. That's all I went to the market with when I had nothing and I was starting from zero and I had no teams and no money and no budget and no stuff. I was like, do you know what? How can I compete with the people that do? I'm just going to keep going until, way beyond the time at which they give up. And
Love
look
it.
what's happened now.
Yeah. Exactly. They say it was an overnight success, but when you're getting 0 views a few years ago, a lot of people would have quit. So that's awesome. Now, when it comes to the actual video creation, obviously, we have those topics. Now, do you recommend a specific platform or kind of posting omni-channel at once from day one? If someone's, has a topic, kind of where should they post? How should they think about, different channels?
Well, every marketer will give you a slightly different answer to this, and it does depend a little bit on the purpose that you are going out on social media for. I'm going to come at this with, my purpose was to reach as many people as possible and to have the biggest reach possible. And with that purpose in mind, for me, it was about making every piece of content I create work as hard as possible for me. We have to remember in that context that every single platform is a completely unique environment with totally different people on it and with totally different visibility and with its own search engines, search feeds, hashtags, and deliverability in the way that it shows people what it thinks they want to see. And so because of that, I took the approach of, I'm going to make sure that I take this one minute video that I create and make sure it is everywhere. Because then instead of just having this one thing on one platform that might have, the potential for a few million people to see it, if I put it on all of them, I've got the potential for billions of people to see it. And so I have always, for the last 8+ years, used a social media scheduler that will auto distribute that one piece of content across every single channel there is. From there, including YouTube, taking that YouTube video, embedding it into a blog post on my blog so that my website's increasing in content, getting more indexable pages. The fact that the YouTube video is embedded in the blog means that people sit and watch it on the blog, telling Google that that page must be interesting. Watch time as per YouTube also is a increase in your indexing on Google. And so that's a tactic that I've been using for many years to hit more search results on more of those platforms, get seen in more places. And there's no compliment to me that more than when people say, I see you everywhere. How do you do so much when it's just software auto posting all over the place? And 2, when they then follow that up with, and it's so cool that you're exactly the same in person as you are online. I feel like I know you, because we're not doing no fancy stuff other than just rocking up and talking to other people and sharing what we love.
Love it. So I got 2 questions from that. Number 1, quick one is, what is the scheduler that you use and you recommend? Number 2, if someone is camera shy, maybe they're not the most charismatic or entertaining person on camera, and they're worried that, their videos may be boring or that they're not good at camera, how do you kind of recommend that they create, engaging videos that people do engage with and that does deliver value and not kind of get skipped and get ignored?
There are lots of different social media posting tools out there, and I do recommend with any tech, go and get the free trials and see which one you prefer. However, I am the CEO of TekMatix, and it would be very remiss of me to not say TekMatix is a social media scheduler. So it connects to all of your social media platforms, and you can create, plan, schedule, and even create AI-generated content from this scheduler itself. So do go and check out Lucas's affiliate link if you do want to go and have a free trial and have a little play on there as well. Now, in terms of what do you do if you're stuck on camera, but you've got to do marketing? First of all, again, nobody falls out of the womb knowing how to present to a camera. And when I hear people say, like, that person's just a natural on camera. No, they're not. They've just made themselves look like an idiot more times than you have by practicing. Absolutely nobody is a natural, right? That's just not how we're designed. This is quite simply a skill like anything else, that the more you do it, the better you get. The more you put yourself out there, the less utterly terrifying it becomes. The more you practice and prove to your body and your physiological system that you're not going to die, the easier it becomes from the neurons to tell your face what you want to say, and the words come out in some kind of understandable format. It's just practice, and the people that are good have just practiced more than the ones that are not yet good, and you will get there. However, I know that many people would rather go to the dentist than put themselves in front of the camera, and so when I always say to people, when you're at this stage and you've got a bit more practice to do before you want to get on that camera, please don't hold off marketing your business. Please don't. So what I would say for you guys is, while you're practicing on the camera, use image content, right? Go into Canva, create images, use text content. Like, places like Facebook are still really, really strong in text-based content. I have found that my pure text-based content on Facebook gets way more views and reach and comments than anything else I put on Facebook, which is crazy. You can use the Reels system in Canva to create beautiful video reels that don't have to have a face on. You've got commercial use imagery, text, flipping visuals, and audio that you can create really helpful tips on that relate to your topic, that then sell your courses at the end. By all means, use those. Now, of course, as well, in the world of AI, again, I've said you're better if you're speaking as yourself, but you can clone yourself amazingly now with a ton of different tools that are out there. You upload a video. You can do this even on Dissect to a degree. You upload a video of yourself. It clones your face, it clones your words, and you give it a script, and it will basically be you, which of course you can do. Now, they're not amazing yet. I again would say, if you're going to do that, please declare that it's a robot version of yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to look a bit strange. But that, again, it's better than nothing. I always say something's better than nothing. The more you overthink this, the more perfectionist you are about this, the more people are going without your knowledge and expertise, the more you're going without the benefit of being able to help the world. And the more you're going to sit back a year later and go, why didn't I just do it? Version 1 of everything's going to suck, right? The sooner you get version 1 out the way, the sooner you can get to version 2. But you've got to have version 1 first. Do it. The future you will thank you again.
Yeah, exactly. There's that quote, I think it was maybe the LinkedIn founder or the Salesforce founder. I can't remember who it was, but it was something like, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, then you ship too late. So I always think of that, and it's a great way of describing it. Gets thrown around a lot in the SaaS world, as you know, probably. Okay, so much good stuff here. We've created a system, we've created the topic and the offer. We're posting content that everyone's asking for. Now, when it comes to actually monetizing this content, right? What does that look like? How do we take people from, seeing us on videos, engaging with our content, to actually, getting them as a course customer and being able to kind of, put them into our product suite?
We've talked a lot today about social media and using that as a great springboard to get out there, gain a following, get people to find us. But it is critical that we don't depend on social media to build and grow our businesses. Your social media accounts can get lost at the click of a button. You can lose them for no reason. They can get hacked. There are a million different reasons why we should not depend on these systems. You need to have your own system. You need to have your own place and your own way of communicating with these people that are finding you on socials. And that means having your own platform, such as a TekMatix account, or your own email list, which again, you can host on a platform like TekMatix. Now, to do this, you need to have some kind of call to action in all of these pieces of content that you're putting out to the world. This might be a lead magnet. What's a lead magnet? It's something you give away for free in exchange for an email address. It could be the recording of a webinar, the recording of a podcast you've been interviewed on. It could be a document, a checklist. It could be some kind of template that people get. It could be an ebook that you've written. It could be a top 10 tips in how to make candles if you're a candle making course creator. And you're basically in every single one of those videos giving a call to action. And I mix mine up a little bit. So I will have, in the majority of my free videos or free social media content I'm putting out there, my call to action will be come and get one of my free things. So I have a whole bunch of free course creation starter kit stuff. And I say, and if you want to create a course, come and grab my free course creation starter kit, links below, or link pops up on the video. The other thing I offer is one of my paid things, not all the time, but in between. So if I've given some really cool tip, I'll say, and if you want to get more of that, if you want to go from being an expert to a legend, come and join my Legacy Lab. I'll put the link to that in the comments above or below. And the other thing I would do is offer people to book a call. So again, if you're using a platform like TekMatix, where you can have your own appointment booking system in there where people can book free or paid calls with you, the call to action might be, and if you found this tip helpful and you want to do more of this, come and book a call with me, links in my bio. And the final call to action you can have, if you don't have anything else yet, is come and follow me or email me on, right? Get them to email you. Is say, come and email me on, tell me what your biggest question right now about, and then give your topic is. So that's another thing you can do. If you don't have anything for anyone to sign up to, you have no opt-in box, then I want you to say something like this, blah, 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 here's my tip on how to create a course. And I'd love to know, what is your biggest question about creating an online course right now? Email me on sarah@sarahcordiner.com and I will answer your question myself. Boom. People are now emailing you. Guess what? If you're using a platform like TekMatix, the second someone emails you, they become a contact in your system, and every communication you have with that individual from that point onwards then has that communication stored in their customer record. So you are building your database by telling them to email you, right? This is so important, because from there you can commercialize further anything else you build, create, any other future course you put together. All you've got to do is email your list a link. Done.
Love it. So let's actually dive into that. So people posting amazing content that have some really, really good lead magnets. Some are paid, some are free. What does that process look like, through TekMatix platform or kind of any other email or automation drip feeds from, collecting an email at the start to getting them to actually purchase your course?
So whatever platform you are using, as a course creator, it's really important to have a clear system behind the scenes. You need to have your free lead magnet upfront, and this is where you need a simple opt-in page. Okay, so you can create unlimited web pages, for instance, on TekMatix. You simply create a single page that says, come and get this free thing. Or if it's an appointment, you just embed your calendar in it, book a free strategy call, for instance. If it's an ebook or a course or a webinar recording, you're going to just say what it is, what they're getting, and they have the little box in there to pop their email address in. What happens behind the scenes is as soon as they enter their email address in, your system should instantly send them an email with access to that thing. You should not have any manual work in that process, and never make people ever have to wait to get the thing. Okay, so if you're using most platforms, certainly TekMatix, you simply set up what's called an automation behind the scenes. When somebody fills in this box and presses the submit button, then send them this thing and send them this email and give them this access. It's done behind the scenes. Great. Then what? The next thing that I have done in my business for the last decade that has been responsible for me making millions of dollars is to then have what's called a welcome nurture sequence. This is where, quite simply, I recommend that you write down the top 10 tips that you could possibly give in your topic. What are the top 10 questions you get asked over and over again? Or what are the top 10 questions that ChatGPT and Answer the Public are telling you people ask in your field? Sit down for an afternoon with a whacking cup of coffee and answer them all in writing or in video. And all you're going to do inside that email sequence that they've just joined to get your free thingy is you're going to then say, wait for 3 days, for instance, and then send this email. And it's going to go something like this. Hi, first name. Thank you so much for getting my free candle making workshop. Here are 10 questions that I always get asked about this. You're going to list the questions, not answer them. In the next few days, I'm going to send you my answers to all of these questions. And here's the first one. And you're going to answer that question in as helpful format as you possibly can. And then at the end of that email, you're going to say, P.S. first name, if you want to learn how to make amazing candles from home, come and join my candle making academy, links here, or book a call with me here, or whatever it is that you here, come and join my workshop in Sydney that's running every Sunday. I don't know. So this is where you're basically sending this really helpful tip and then selling without selling by just going, P.S. here are all the ways that I can help you do this thing. And you're also telling them that if they stick around, there's all these other things that they're going to learn too, and hopefully won't unsubscribe because you're going to leave the biggest answer till last. And the system then in the automation just goes, wait for 3 days, then send the next email, which is going to be tip 2. Wait for 3 days, send the next email, which is tip 3. The same structure. I always open it with, here are the 10 questions I'm going to answer. Here are the first 3 we've already answered. Link back to a blog post so you get more traffic over there. Then give them the tip, then say, P.S. here are all the ways that I can help you with this thing. Now that used to be up until actually 18 months ago, around the COVID period, being in the middle of that, it used to take 11 touch points for the average person to go from a lead, not knowing who you were, to potentially considering buying one of your products. That has actually dramatically changed since the COVID time. And there is data out there that's suggesting that that is now 23 touch points because there is so much information coming at us every day. So now I'm actually just increasing that welcome sequence to 23 instead of 10 to just have that more time. Now, from there, here's the next part of the system. Obviously, each of those PSs is going to be pointing to the landing page where they can go and buy that thing or book that call. But what you want after that 10-part welcome sequence has passed is what I call then, it's a new sequence called the ongoing nurture sequence. So at the bottom of that sequence in the system, it just says, now send them to the ongoing nurture sequence. So they get shuffled along the line by the system into the next sequence. And all this is, all those tips I started talking to you about before, where you're putting tips out every day on social media or every few days or once a week, whatever frequency you're choosing. All you are doing is taking the YouTube video URL of those video tips that you're producing for your marketing, and you're sticking them inside the email workflow. And so what I do now is I switch to only emailing once a week. And I now, every single video I create, I go into my ongoing nurture sequence and I press wait for 7 days, add a new email. And the email subject is whatever tip I've given. I know how to create a customer journey for your online course. And I embed the YouTube video into the email, say, hey, first name, here's my tip on how to create a customer journey for your online course. P.S. first name, here are all the different ways that I can help you create an online course. And they link to the different products and services. And then all you do, wait for a week. Next video you create, you add it on. So this automation just gets bigger and bigger and bigger over time, to the point at which now, guys, my email automation for my ongoing nurture sequence, if you joined it today, it will now serve you content every single week for the next 5 years. That is how long my nurture sequence now is. And get this again, some people go, that's crazy. Like, that's so long. Well, first of all, succession plan. If I get hit by the proverbial bus tomorrow, my business can actually still keep running and selling for at least another 5 years without me being there. On top of that, the buying process is longer today. And in every stage I speak on, in every room I present to, in every summit that I'm on the digital stage of, I ask people, how long have you been following me before you bought something? And the average answer is usually around 2 years. Wow. And the only reason I made the sales I made, and I'm talking millions of dollars worth, is because I kept producing and distributing content using these automated systems. You only have to create the video. The system does the rest. There is no excuse. And if you have this set up, this is where you create that automated, inverted commas, passive income system that everyone talks about, that everyone thinks doesn't work, which is purely because they simply just haven't got this very simple process in the back end.
Wow. Yeah, that was incredible. You man, yeah, so many good points. I didn't even know where to kind of spin off. I'm curious. I saw behind you on that thing, it says AI bot assistant. So I'm curious, diving into the technical nerdy stuff now. How are you using kind of AI bots and any kind of new tools to sell online courses and programs right now? I know there's some of the crazy stuff I see on Twitter, for X, YouTube, of people doing all kinds of shit. So I'm curious, kind of what are you testing? What's working for you right now when it comes to bots and AI and all this new stuff?
Oh, well, I am absolutely in love with AI. And we're recording this in December 2023 right now. In just the last few days, we've had ChatGPT open up the ability for the everyday person to create auto GPTs. This is an absolute game changer, because up until a week ago, you had to have lots and lots of money and very, very smart developers to create auto GPTs for you. Now, if you don't know what freaking hell that is, it's basically creating your own bot. And you can clone yourself in seconds. You can take your favorite coach and clone that coach in seconds. Let me give you a couple of examples, right? So if you are teaching courses and you get lots and lots of questions from your students, and you've been really struggling to get an assistant or an EA or a VA of some kind because nobody can answer like you do, here is a solution, right? You can create an auto GPT version of yourself by simply logging into OpenAI, pressing Create a GPT. You can upload at the moment, and this is changing all of the time. It's probably going to change by the time you even hear this episode. But at the moment of recording this, you can currently record up to 10 PDFs of 100,000 words each. Now, to give you a rough idea of how much content that is, the average book is 30,000 words. So you can upload 3 full books per document 10 times. That's a lot of books, right, that you can upload. And into the GPT, you're simply going to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm expertise in. This is who I help. These are the products that I help them with. Here's the URL to my website. I've attached every single book I've ever written. Go and export every blog that you've ever created. Upload that as a PDF as well. This thing now literally has your knowledge inside the system. You now can create, that bot can basically be called, I've got one called Sarah, and that anyone can take that URL to the bot you've created, and it becomes a tab in their ChatGPT account. It takes minutes. I am talking minutes to do that. So this for me is an absolute game changer, because now I have been able to use that bot to clone the way I would go through a consult with a client when I'm helping them come up with their course outline, when I'm helping them come up with their IP framework model, when I'm helping them come up with their customer journey, when I'm helping them pull their knowledge and expertise out of their brains. I've basically put my process of doing that into a bot, which I'm now putting into my Legends Lab Academy, so that people can pick my brain whenever they want, when they're inside my membership, which is a total game changer you guys can do. And in terms of TekMatix, what we've been able to do here is connect in through OpenAI a bot. So anyone who's using TekMatix, it connects your Instagram Messenger, your Facebook Messenger, your chat widget on your website. If you haven't got one, you get one free with TekMatix. Your SMSs, your Google Business Messenger. You just connect them with all click of a button. Connect. You turn on your bot, which is literally blue button on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. You then say, here's my website URL. You dump your website URL into your bot inside your TekMatix account, and it will scrape your whole website in seconds and learn how to respond as you to every incoming query from that point onwards. And it will book your calls for you into your TekMatix calendar.
Yeah, geez. I feel sick that I'm not doing this right now in my stomach. I need to leave this podcast right now, just move everything I'm doing over there right now. I'm not even kidding. That is insane. Because even, damn. Yeah. That is so powerful. Well, we have to move towards kind of wrapping up shortly, but I'm curious to finish on, before we have the, kind of the final question, any kind of like crazy stories or examples? Obviously, you've been killing it, but of, some students of yours or even some users of your platforms who are just kind of crushing it, with online courses and, some of the results, some of the niches, some of the, the crazy stories and stuff you've seen as someone who's in the trenches right now. I'm curious to hear.
I think everything that we look up and see of people's successes is obviously after they've done the work. And it's the people who simply stubbornly and consistently implement the systems behind the scenes. But look, the people who follow any set of systems consistently over a long period of time, you can't fail if you just keep doing it. You only fail if you give up and you quit. We've had everything from, people like me, absolute nobodies who came from zero following, zero nothing, zero business, to becoming massive award-winning leaders in their fields of specialization. We've got people who have gone on and got TV shows. I mean, myself alone, the only reason I became the youngest senior leader of a university in Australian history is because I built myself a presence in my field of expertise. I got headhunted by a university because they said, we've seen you and we want you. And this is what happens when you go out there. You do not know, and you cannot even comprehend what is possible for you until you start going out there and watching your path unfold, and you're putting it down one brick at a time. It's the only way to go out and do it. So for me, I would say it doesn't matter how obnoxious you think it feels or you think it sounds when you sit there and write down, I want this for myself or my business. It is not selfish or shallow to be financially focused. In fact, it's critical as a business owner. You don't have a business if you don't have money coming in. So I remember the day when I got a piece of paper, a big piece of butcher's paper, I stuck it on the wall and I said, one day it would be my dream before I die to have 10,000 students having been educated by me. And I remember I just thought that was the most stupid, crazy, outrageous, obnoxious, ridiculous goal ever. That's why I wrote it down, because I was like, I'm going to aim for that. If I get half that, it'll be amazing. And here I am talking to you today. I've got over 280,000, right? What am I going to have in 10 years? I have no idea, but I've definitely got bigger goals today. So that's why I think, if it doesn't absolutely terrify you, as we've heard before, if it doesn't terrify you, it's not big enough. If the number isn't high enough and obnoxious enough, you need to push yourself harder. Forget what the people around you say. The people around you are not your target customers. Your family aren't your target customers. Your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, brother, sister, mate at the pub is not your target customer. By all means, feel free to share your dreams with them, but don't expect understanding and don't certainly expect support. You have to want it yourself. You have to be willing to push through every barrier that will come your way to get there. You have to be consistent enough to push through the days that are cold and freezing and dark and lonely and terrifying and feel like complete and utter failures, as much as you need to remain humble on the day when the sun is shining and the world is cheering you on. You can do it. You keep that goal clear. You keep it really strong in your vision. But at the same time, remember every single morning, if I can make a difference to one person today, then this whole year was worth the effort. Then, my friend, you'll make a difference.
I love it. That's a great point to finish on, I reckon. So, Sarah, this has been incredible. There are so many sound bites. I feel like this is 5 podcasts worth of value delivered, and I should put a paywall behind this because, you literally gave the entire blueprint. It was amazing. So I guess I'm going to leave links in the bio below on YouTube or on Spotify as well, and link to your SaaS platform, obviously your personal website, but where else can people find you? Where should people go? What should people do to kind of learn more and get more gold from you?
Well, because I do what I say, you only have to type in Sarah Cordiner onto Google and you'll find me on pretty much every single platform. I do have a free course creation starter kit that will take you through the basics of coming up with a topic, doing the basic tech stuff, and how to set up your own course platform. Don't forget to check out Lucas's affiliate link to TekMatix below if you'd like to get yourself a free trial. That includes a free setup inside the system, a free onboarding call as well. So if you do want to just go in, have a little look around, click on Lucas's link there. Otherwise, just social media me, and if you've got any questions, feel free to send them through. Thank you for listening, and go out there and change the world.
Go out there and change the world, guys. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on. This was an incredible episode. I really, really appreciate your time. So guys, go check out Sarah, go check out the platform. All the onboarding is there. The links will be below. And thanks for listening, everyone.